I might as well just try it for myself and see what's going on. But I can tell you immediately, like, my experience has been pretty mixed. Just on a, haven't played anything since 5, which I played extensively. But I didn't play 6 and I didn't play Sport. And I can tell you that some of the things that I've heard people complaining about are just things that have been a part of these games for a long time. So I kind of waved them away and I was like, well, you know, maybe people are just kind of exaggerating. But man, there's some stuff like Gran Turismo is just such a weird game. It's like, you know, parts like never stop evolving, and parts of it, hey, you know, kind of like FIFA does. It's like, that's only in terms of like the driving assist, which I don't really understand why it's there at all. It's like the game should just be the game, and like if you can play it, you can play it. If you can't play it, go play something else. But it's not like in terms of the user experience. So you still come into this game and you get introduced to Sarah, right? And Sarah's like your assistant or your guide through the game. But she kind of just makes everything more complicated because, like, I understand that you want to have this whole presentation and eventually all this stuff is going to get opened up for me to use. But if you just made it more straightforward, I wouldn't need a guide. Right? Because ultimately, this is a racing game. And mostly what I'm going to be doing in this game, or what I want to be doing in this game, is sitting in the driver's seat of a car, racing the car. But you spend so much time, and I will say that this game actually gets to the races pretty quick, but it's like, it's still like, oh, this is where you can purchase cars. You know, like, yeah, I think we're all familiar with the idea of shopping for a car. Got it. I'll be buying the cars that I'll be using in the game. Got it. You know, it's like, there are different cars you can purchase. No shit. This is where you keep your cars. Oh, a place to keep your cars. How novel. And then there's like the cafe, and they're like, okay, this is like kind of story mode for Gran Turismo, right? But they can't call it like story mode for Gran Turismo. They have to call it the cafe, and they're like, hey, aside from serving drinks and food and drinks, you can get information about cars. And it's like, well, actually, you can't fucking serve food and drinks through a video game, can you? So it's just the place where you get information about the cars. So why don't you just call it something like that? I mean, I get that you want to have like an aesthetic to it, but all right, the cafe, and it's the center of the fucking map. Like, this is probably what I'll use the least because, like, I'm sorry, like, as much as I'm into cars and everything, there's way more other stuff that I'm into, so I'm not gonna be partaking in this whole, like, you know, stick your dick in a car exhaust culture. Like, mostly I want to get to the race, especially early on, so I would, like, put this, like, kind of, like, lower to the right, where this semi-circular, like, fucking car dealership looks kind of like the car dealership from Vice City, actually. But anyway, I would put it down there because it's like, you know, later. Because you just bought the game. Fucking races. Well, we're like 40 minutes into my GT7 experience, and I played one race. So I don't get it. And I don't understand why this game doesn't just, like, and a lot of games do this actually, but they're like, oh, you just started the game, and here's some settings we want to get out of the way. And then they're like, oh, be sure to look at these settings. It's like, okay. Again, 24 years of this shit. Just let me set everything at once, okay? I pretty much know what I want, and I'm very specific. Your settings always suck. They're always wrong. It's never what I want. So just let me do it all right off the bat. But no, instead, like I play with the, I don't know what you call it, you'll see it in a second, the ground camera, right? And it's all, like, I always have to get into my first race and then figure out which fucking button changes the camera to get to that. And it's like, just let me, I want to start my first fucking race in a game with everything going, so I don't have to, like, crash 6 fucking times and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, oh wait, no, I need to change my buttons. Just let me do it all. And then here's another thing. So, UI, just general UI. First of all, look at this fucking screen. Okay? Menu book, collection, Japanese compact cars. Okay, so that's like a side quest thing that I have going on to collect 3 certain specific cars. I don't think this needs to be like up here right now. It's not very important to me, but it seems to be very important. Okay? The car I'm driving, I think, should be given more importance. I think that should take up, like, this entire bar, middle bar. Okay? And give me more information, and the text should be bigger. Okay? Make the picture bigger, too, so that I have more of a connection to the car I'm actually driving right now. Get this shit out of the way. I don't give a fuck. My credits can take up this amount of space over here on the left. I don't actually need to know that, but sure, it's like your currency, so you want to just always have it. Collector level, yeah, again, not very important. I think the amount of space is appropriate, but that should be over here. Something like, yeah, I think all this stuff could be shortened a little bit and just be shoved over to the right. I don't really know what else you would take up the real estate. I'm sure we can think of something, but like, yeah, already this bar is off. And then you have this. So I actually, when I went to the first race, I actually did the circuit experience because I didn't realize these were interactable icons because of, you know, the way the cursor moves. Everything is just like off. Just make one big rectangle here. Right? And put all this shit in there. And then this didn't even appear on the other one. Meeting place. Meeting place. But what you're supposed to be looking at is this. This is what they want you to do. You know? So by mistake, I discovered that each track, I guess, you know, has like a default like practice car, because that wasn't a car that was in my collection. Anyway, this is like where audio would come in, and I get that that would be very expensive, but if you're gonna have any help at all, these little guides people who I don't really appreciate, you know. Oh fuck, I gotta turn my headphones down. Jesus Christ, that was loud. To me, they're like the paperclip, that little Microsoft paperclip. But actually, if you're gonna have stuff like that, I would make it kind of rude and curt. Because eventually, you don't really want to hear from them unless they're helping you. Ay, ay, ay. This car oversteers badly. I'm doing these in automatic because I figured it'd just be easier to get it out of the way. Now I will say that. Oh God! Fucking hell! So I pre-ordered the game because I confess I got a little nostalgic. I saw those featurettes that the developers were putting out about the game, which were pretty impressive, and I really should have known better because I know that when you put all these bells and whistles in these games, ultimately, it's just a racing game, and it's just kind of like there's only, I don't know, this might sound stupid, but I really think there's only so much you can do in these games, especially when you're expecting the majority of your players to play it on a controller. You know, because a racing wheel makes a world of difference, and I might actually go buy one because I have the money. But anyway, money is kind of the problem because I pre-ordered the game and I pre-ordered the deluxe edition or whatever with the soundtrack and I don't know what else. But part of it is that it comes with at least one car. I thought I got more cars. I didn't really look at it that closely. But I at least have this car that at least allows me to blow through these opening races, which usually it's like such a struggle. Now that's one of the things that I've heard in this game, like people complaining about in this game, is that the money, you don't get enough money. And I believe it. We'll see how it goes, but I mean, that's always been a thing in Gran Turismo where it's like, you know, it's a fucking job, seriously, to play these games. And back in the day, I don't know, unless there were like cheats and stuff, there was no way around it. You had to fucking do it. If you wanted to earn like those top end cars in the game, you had to earn so much money. And then just even starting out early on, you know, just to be able to like buy a small little piece of shit car and tune it, took forever. So we'll see if that has been exaggerated or if it's kind of like the same it's always been. Or maybe I'll find that it's better. I don't know. Here's another thing now. Okay, so I finished the race. Get my rewards. Okay. And, okay, thank God I got that car. Okay, more stuff to click through. And then it goes right into the replay, okay? And I understand, like, this, okay, that fact alone, the fact that it goes right into the replay, that's a Gran Turismo thing, so I get it. But then, okay, so I exit, and then it goes back to the replay screen, right? So if I just want to hit X to leave, but hitting X will take me back into the replay, and it's like, I'm not here to watch replays. Okay, Yasunori? Like, I want to play the game, I want to race the cars. You know? Okay, and now I've got this thing like, let's go back to the cafe. And it's like, why? Okay. I'm sure these are all very nice gentlemen. Okay, let's let's do it. The term compact car is pretty self-explanatory. It refers to cars with shorter wheelbases and less spacious interiors. Their compact nature makes them quite agile, making them popular with new drivers. Japanese compact cars are famous for their technical prowess. For example, the diesel engine in the fourth generation Daimyo is considered one of Mazda's true masterpieces. There's also the third generation Honda Fit Hybrid, which was the most fuel-efficient car in Japan when it was released. Finally, another compact hybrid that boasts great fuel efficiency. Sorry, not a good day to do this, but as you can see, many compact cars have ended up becoming all-time classics. That's it? That's the great history? And this is standard Gran Turismo 2, the licenses. And I do like... Yeah, got it. Like, it's not that fucking complicated. See, that's an... Okay. Just put the licenses up. They're mandatory anyway, right? I don't really need to hear the story of getting the license. Now, I do like the way licenses are set up usually because they teach you how to play the game really well. And as far as tutorials go, anyway, I was saying that as far as tutorials go, this is kind of something I miss, and this is one way that this game is old school that I really like, is that the tutorial is actually what you do in the game. This is something that used to be a staple in games. Like if you think back to the VR missions in Metal Gear Solid, like that's actually the gameplay of Metal Gear Solid, so it's really useful. But a lot of times tutorials now are basically just like, these are the buttons you'll be using in the game, but not really like getting you to like extrapolate how to improve your gameplay. Anyway, that's Gran Turismo 7. I didn't really want to make this too long. Yeah, just kind of a head scratcher. Like, I mean, I can tell that it's a good racing game. I can get the feel for that immediately as soon as you get into a car. The new character. He's my coach. Oh, he's a Gran Turismo driver. See, if you were good enough, you'd be here. But instead, you need to be coached. Yeah, it's just kind of a head scratcher. I mean, it's not as bloated as Gran Turismo 5, which again was the last one I played. That game was just like a nightmare. The UI, the menu was a nightmare. I see improvement since then, but not in all areas, and that's kind of frustrating, you know. And it's just kind of like, all right, I hate that it's let's learn to love this Gran Turismo, as opposed to you know, this is perfect or close to perfect. Coming off of Elden Ring, which just nailed so many things about a genre, a series of games, kind of a trajectory of a series of games, anticipating players. I mean, I felt like Elden Ring just fit like a glove to me. And I'm not saying it's a perfect game, but so many things, 99% of a huge game is done almost perfectly. That complaining about it just seems like quibbling. And in this game, I'm like, again, like 20 minutes in, I'm yelling at the screen, and I felt compelled to make this video. Kind of worlds apart. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got to say. So thanks for joining me. Let me know what you think about Gran Turismo 7 and what I said about it. Kind of a ramble, but, you know, off the cuff. Anyway, see you later.